Good morning, and welcome to the Ranch Report podcast. This is where transparency lives. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2026, and my name is Mark Falcone. I want to thank you all for tuning in. In this episode, I'm going to share some deeply concerning information regarding Bernice and Gary Underwood. As members of this community, you deserve to understand both the character and conduct of those that represent you on the board. Over the weekend, all of you received an email from a group calling themselves REAL, Residents for Ethical and Authentic Leadership. And I want to quote just a snippet of that email. They state, quote, "We believe our board of directors must be held to a standard of conduct that is above reproach," end quote. I could not agree more. What I'm about to present is not speculation, nor is it conjecture. It is based on documented events and San Bernardino County Superior Court public records. Before I begin, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host, yours truly, and may not reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of East Highlands Ranch, East Highlands Ranch Board of Directors, or their managing agent, the Management Trust. All right, I'm going to take you back to around 2015, 2016, when I served on the board. At that time, I was assigned as the board liaison to the Covenants Committee. The Covenants Committee consists of 5 volunteer homeowners, and their role is to review and adjudicate compliance violations. Now, just because you're being sent to Covenants does not make you less of a member. Every homeowner deserves to be treated with respect. But that wasn't always the case. I personally witnessed behavior from this committee, specifically from Bernice Underwood, that in my opinion crossed the line. In one instance, a homeowner came before the committee and explained they were experiencing financial hardship and could not afford a $25 fine. After that homeowner left, Bernice Underwood ridiculed them. That moment mattered because it revealed something deeper than policy. It revealed character. I pushed back on this committee on how our homeowners were being treated. As a result, Bernice Underwood and the committee chairman at that time went before the board to have me removed as the liaison, and they succeeded. The board back then consisted of Bernice's husband, Gary Underwood, Pat McCurry, Fred Jogger, who I think is a snake, and Dave Sarin. Dave Sarin was the only board member who supported me. This pattern of removal when challenged should sound very familiar because it mirrors what happened to me again in October of last year when I was removed as treasurer of East Highlands Ranch and the liaison to our finance committee. Now, I want to move along to March of 2017. At approximately 4 a.m. in the morning, on March 17th, on or about, Bernice Underwood was captured on a neighbor's security camera, allegedly poisoning this neighbor's tree. This video was shown to me directly by 2 individuals, Jorge Garcia and Amy Mallett. Both can verify its existence. Who I saw in the video was clearly Bernice Underwood. As far as Gary goes, how do you not know where your wife is at 4 a.m.? The neighbor, Rick Miller, pursued legal action. Bernice was arrested and charged with felony vandalism. Court records show Bernice ultimately pleaded not guilty to a misdemeanor. The case was dismissed, but Bernice received 3 years of probation. What I like to do now is show you documented proof. So bear with me as I screen share. I don't have a producer, so I'm having to do this all on my own. So let's see here. All right, so here, you pull this down. You can see it's a portal minute order pulled off the San Bernardino County Courthouse website. People of the State of California versus Bernice Underwood. This is dated January 15th of 2021. You can see here, this is just the dismissal of the case where she pleads not guilty. What I also want to do now is pull this back up and show you another screen share. Stand by. And you should see a photo. Again, here we are. People of the State of California versus Bernice Underwood. You can see she was charged with the misdemeanor back on March 16th of 2017. In 2021, she pled not guilty. Let me expand this here. And you can see the summary probation starting on December 11th, 2017 for 3 years, ending December 10th of 2020. Let me stop the sharing here and come back. Oh, fast forward to October of 2022, when I was working as the compliance inspector at EHR. The office received notice that the neighbor, Rick Miller's, his property had been vandalized again. I went out to inspect the property myself. Along the property line between the Millers and the Underwoods, there sits a brick mow curb that runs the length of the property. On Rick Miller's side of this mow curb, there was an obvious strip about 6 inches wide of dead grass running continuously from top to bottom. No breaks, no ambiguity. Rick Miller confronted Gary Underwood. Gary claimed weeds were crossing into his artificial turf. But there was no visible weeds in the Miller yard to support that claim. At this point, I want to read directly from a written statement provided from Rick Miller and then show you a video. So bear with me as I go back to screen share to provide you this information. All right, what you should see on your screen is an email dated October 14th, 2022, to whom it may concern. I'm writing this letter to inform you of a recent homeowner situation that needs to be documented and reported. As all of you already know and is well documented, Gary and Bernice Underwood are our neighbors and vandalized and killed our tree. Bernice Underwood was charged with felony vandalism and was found guilty of a misdemeanor for vandalism in criminal court, and in civil court had to pay restitution and fines. We had a restraining order against them to stay off our property that has expired. We come home to our property at 29255 Lakeview Lane from our vacation to find our yard had been vandalized and our grass along the Underwoods yard had been killed. I confronted and recorded Gary Underwood admitting to his yet again poor choice to vandalize our property. We are bringing this to the EHR HOA as we want this documented in our file as evidence of the damage our neighbors continue to cause. We also are requesting that this be shown to the board and addressed. We have not filed any police reports or charges as of yet against the Underwoods. It is extremely concerning that members of the EHR HOA can be on the board and committees and commit these sorts of crimes to their own neighbors in their own community. We have put up security lighting and cameras which have not deterred them from destroying our property. And Rick provides a link to a video that he has that I'd like to go ahead and share with you now. Bear with me. Where's that video? Stand by.
Rick, it was here. That's why I sprayed it. I didn't think it would be overspray, but it did. So I want to make it right.
Stay off my property. Stop destroying my stuff. It's not enough that you killed the tree. Now, I mean, it's not, look, it's, I can't even believe this is happening right now.
It was just a mistake, Rick. I'm so sorry, and I'm willing to fix this myself. So
I don't know what you can.
well, like I said, the weeds were coming over on the brick. I thought, well, I'll just spray the weeds here on the brick, and it oversprayed it. And I'm so sorry. I mean, it was a mistake, Rick. I'm sure you make mistakes, and I certainly didn't want to offend you.
What did you think was going to happen,
Well,
sir?
you have every right to be upset, Rick. I'm sorry. That's why I'm apologizing. That's why I came out here, and I wanted to make amends.
Please stay off my property. Please stop destroying my stuff. I want to be neighbors. It's been 17 years. I thought we were good. Not even 7 days later, my grass starts to die again.
You know,
I'm like,
it is just crazy, and I'm so sorry.
I just don't understand.
Well, you have every right to be upset, and that's why I'm apologizing.
Can you please just stay off my property?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Folks, Gary says it's crazy and it was a mistake. You saw it. There was no break in between from he just continuously sprayed from one end to the other. During my time as compliance inspector, Bernice and Gary frequently reported to me alleged compliance violations along Lakeview Lane, including the same neighbor who you just heard from, whose property had been damaged. There was a consistent pattern of overreach on the part of the Underwoods. Folks, this is not a neighbor-to-neighbor misunderstanding, nor is it an isolated incident. And this truly is not leadership. What you are looking at is a documented pattern of behavior spanning years that reflects a complete disregard for neighbors, for basic decency, and for the responsibility that comes with representing this community. If this conduct is tolerated at the board level, then the standard for this entire community is being lowered right in front of you. We deserve better than that. Folks, on Saturday, again, all of you received an email from the group REAL, Residents for Real and Authentic Leadership. REAL supports Gary Underwood for re-election, and in their email, they ask you to support Underwood as well. It's absolutely comical. Let me be clear. Gary Underwood should not be representing this community, period, full stop. Not after this history, not after these incidents, and not after this pattern of behavior. I am calling on Gary Underwood to resign immediately. Folks, this is the moment to pay attention. I'm asking you to call for Gary Underwood to resign immediately. Because if this is what is allowed to stand, then this is what will continue. Demand Underwood resign today. Before you go, don't forget to check out my other episodes that dropped today, titled Falcone versus TMT and the 2026 EHR election. If you found this information valuable, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I thank you for your support. Take care.